Welcome back to the deep dive. The AI revolution is definitely in full swing, right?
Hmm.
And when we think about the companies really powering it, a few big names probably spring to mind instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. The usual suspects.
Exactly. But what if we told you there's another major player making some, well, incredibly significant waves, quietly challenging the established order, maybe, and whose rise could genuinely reshape how we understand the AI landscape?
Hmm.
This deep dive is all about that company. We're zeroing in on the fascinating ascent of Broadcom in the artificial intelligence space. We'll be looking at how this semiconductor and networking specialist is not just riding the AI wave, but actually actively steering part of it.
Right. And our mission today is really to give you a shortcut to being well informed on this critical shift. We're going to unpack, exactly what's fueling Broadcom's really robust rally lately,
Okay.
how its technology truly it is. So we'll explore the raw data, recent company pronouncements, analyst insights, all while giving some essential context on the broader AI hardware market. I think you might be genuinely surprised by some of the figures we uncover, especially when we start comparing them to that chip maker everyone's already talking about.
That sets the stage perfectly then, because let's start where everyone's attention usually is. We have to acknowledge the undisputed champion of the AI hardware world, at least for now, Nvidia.
Of course.
I mean, since early 2023, its stock has been on an absolute tear, right? Surging over 100,000%. Their GPUs, the graphics processing units, they've truly cemented their position as the gold standard for AI tech.
Yeah, they really have.
Powering everything from large language models to complex data analysis. It feels like every single conversation about AI infrastructure starts and often ends with Nvidia.
It's understandable because what's fascinating here is why NVIDIA's GPUs have been so transformative. It's the sheer power, right? They provide that massive computational horsepower AI models demand.
Yep. Right. The raw grunt.
Exactly.
Right.
And crucially, they offer extremely flexible use cases. That versatility has been key, for their widespread adoption across all sorts of AI applications.
Makes sense.
However, it's worth taking a closer look at their recent growth. Still impressive, don't get me wrong. But NVIDIA's data center segment, mostly AI-driven, grew 56% year over year in its fiscal Q2 26.
Still huge growth.
Huge growth, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was actually down from 73% growth the quarter before.
Yeah.
So you see a bit of a deceleration there, still massive, like you said, but the pace has shifted just slightly.
Okay, but here's what really caught my eye and what I think will surprise a lot of you listening. While NVIDIA's been soaring, Broadcom has actually outperformed them over the past year.
That's the kicker, isn't it?
How does a company even do that when all the spotlight is on GPUs? Broadcom's stock surged, 149%, compared with 63% for NVIDIA during that same period.
Yeah, the numbers are stark.
And if you look back since early 2023, Broadcom's stock is up more than 500%. That got them into the exclusive $1 trillion club. That's not just benefiting from AI, that feels like setting a new benchmark.
It's incredible, really. I mean, just a few years ago, we were talking about a handful of tech giants in that league.
Right.
And now, to see a company like Broadcom, which historically has been more of a behind-the-scenes kind of player.
Yeah, the infrastructure guys.
Exactly. To see them reach that valuation, largely on the back of AI, it just underscores these huge shifts happening. So that brings us to Broadcom itself. Many know them as a semiconductor and networking specialist. They've had a long-standing, really crucial role with Ethernet switching, networking products in data centers, which naturally allowed them to benefit from the general AI adoption wave.
Okay, so they were already well positioned.
They were. But that's not the whole story. Their recent surge isn't just about general networking. It pivots to a very specific AI advantage they've cultivated, one that's kind of quietly reshaping the hardware game.
Okay, let's unpack that then. If it's not just general networking, and it's definitely not general purpose GPUs like NVIDIA,
Yeah.
what is this specific AI advantage? What's their secret sauce here?
Well, it really boils down to something called application-specific integrated circuits, ASICs.
ASICs, right?
Broadcom has leaned heavily into these, branding them as XPUs. Now, the key difference here is pretty profound. These aren't general-purpose chips like GPUs.
Okay.
These are custom-designed AI accelerators, meaning they're specifically tailored, built to perform unique tasks very, very efficiently.
Ah, so specialized.
Highly specialized. And because they're so specialized, they become more energy efficient for those particular workloads. Often they literally strip out components needed for general tasks, letting them do specific things faster, using less power.
Gotcha. Less waste.
Exactly.
Ew.
And that stands in stark contrast to NVIDIA's more general-purpose GPUs, which are incredibly flexible, sure, but they aren't custom-tuned for every single application out there.
Mhm.
This technological distinction, this focus on custom efficiency, that's a core reason for Broadcom's recent, really eye-popping success. It's a fascinating strategic divergence in the AI hardware market.
So this isn't just some minor technical detail. It's a fundamental strategic choice, especially for the massive players building out AI infrastructure.
Absolutely, it has huge implications.
And if this is truly a strategic divergence, well, the proof, as always, is in the numbers. Broadcom's recent quarterly report, it offered cause to celebrate. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, definitely, for
Yeah.
investors and analysts, yeah. And it really shows the impact of these custom chips.
So break it down for us. What did the Q3 results look like?
Okay, so diving into Broadcom's Q3, the story gets even clearer. First off, record revenue. It accelerated an impressive 22% year over year, reaching $15.9 billion.
Wow. Beating estimates, too.
Comfortably. It surpassed Wall Street's consensus estimate of $15.82 billion. Their adjusted earnings per share, EPS, also jumped 36% to $1.69. Again, ahead of analyst estimates.
Strong numbers all around.
Very strong. But crucially, the company explicitly stated that AI was, and I quote, driving this train. Their AI-specific revenue. It accelerated a remarkable 63% year over year.
63%, just from AI.
Just from AI-specific revenue, hitting $5.2 billion. This figure, maybe more than any other, vividly showcases the direct and accelerating impact of AI on their bottom line. It's not just a side benefit, it's really a central pillar of their growth now.
Okay, beyond the impressive financials, though, what truly signaled Broadcom's future trajectory, it seems to me, was their management's commentary on customer acquisition.
Yes, that was key.
This isn't just about selling more chips today. It's about embedding themselves deeper into the core of AI infrastructure for the biggest players, right, for the long haul.
Exactly, that's the strategic play. So the first key development was that Broadcom continues to expand its business with its three biggest hyperscale customers.
The giants.
The giants. Now, they don't name them explicitly, but it's widely believed these are Alphabet, Meta Platforms, and TikTok parent ByteDance.
Okay, heavy hitters.
Absolutely. And CEO Hock Tan was very clear on the conference call. He said, quote, "We continue to gain share at our three original customers." So this isn't just maintaining business. It's actively growing within their most significant clients.
That's important. Deeper penetration.
Precisely. And furthermore, the company is forecasting its AI-centric growth to be even higher next year, accelerating compared to the 50% to 60% growth it expects in 2025.
Higher than 60%. Wow.
Yeah, it shows increasing confidence, real momentum with these foundational clients. It points towards, like you said, long-term commitment.
And then there was another piece of news that really grabbed headlines, a significant new addition to their client roster. That definitely caught everyone's attention.
Oh, without a doubt. That was the second big development. Broadcom confirmed adding a fourth big hyperscale customer.
A fourth one. And the speculation is...
Well, many analysts believe this new client is likely OpenAI.
OpenAI, that would be huge.
Massive, yeah. A massive win for Broadcom, if true. The company announced that this new client moved from just being a prospect to qualified customer. And crucially, they've approved production of AI racks based on our XPUs.
So locking in that custom ASIC approach?
Locking it in. And this move alone resulted in a substantial boost to Broadcom's backlog, increased it by $10 billion.
$10 billion, just from one new customer contract.
Just that one deal, bringing their total backlog to a whopping $110 billion.
What's really fascinating here is the sheer scale and the long-term commitment these custom design deals represent for Broadcom.
Right.
These aren't just off-the-shelf purchases, they're deep strategic partnerships. Broadcom's specialized solutions become integral to these hyperscalers' AI ambitions going forward.
Okay, so given all this, the numbers, the customer wins, the backlog, what did Wall Street make of it? How did they react?
Well, the reaction was decidedly bullish, you could say. I'm
Yes.
putting it mildly.
Lots of upgrades. No fewer than 16 analysts boosted their price targets on the stock. And many specifically cited this accelerating demand for Broadcom's ASICs as a major factor,
Right.
which naturally raises that big question everyone's asking. Is Broadcom truly the next Nvidia? Does it become an either-or situation?
Yeah. Is it a replacement or something else?
This is where the debate gets really interesting. Take Ben Reitzes of Melius Research, for instance. He views Broadcom as a magnificent 8 stock,
Adding it to the Mag 7.
arguing quite compellingly that
Yeah.
it should be added. Yeah. Reitzes has actually long believed that Nvidia's market share would over time fall somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
He predicted Broadcom could eventually take roughly 30% share of the AI compute market.
30%. That's a huge slice of the pie if Nvidia's been so dominant.
It's a significant forecast for market reallocation, definitely.
But does that necessarily mean it's a zero-sum game? Where one has to lose for the other to win? Or, thinking about it, could Nvidia's share drop, but they still see enormous growth if the whole AI market just explodes? Just maybe at a slower pace than Broadcom.
That's a crucial point, and Reitzes actually addresses it. He doesn't necessarily see it as purely zero-sum.
Okay.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, he also believes that, quote, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Ah, the classic rising tide.
Exactly. He argues that both companies will likely emerge as massive winners as AI adoption just keeps gaining steam across industries. The market, he contends, is simply large enough to support two major players with fundamentally different approaches.
Two winners, different strategies.
Right. So his conclusion is that both Nvidia and Broadcom will likely be market-beating investments from here on out.
However.
But he does add a critical nuance.
Okay, what's that?
Nvidia's CUDA programming library. That software ecosystem is hugely popular with developers, deeply entrenched.
Right, the software moat.
Exactly. That shouldn't be underestimated. It remains a significant competitive advantage that Broadcom, with its custom ASIC approach, doesn't directly compete with in quite the same way, at least not yet.
That helps clarify the coexistence argument. So, with both looking like strong investments, according to some analysts, let's quickly touch on valuation. How are these two powerhouses currently valued by the market? Does it give us a sense of expectations?
Yeah, it does. From a valuation perspective, Broadcom stock is currently selling for about 37 times next year's earnings.
37 times, okay. And Nvidia?
Nvidia, by comparison, is trading at 27 times next year's earnings.
So Broadcom's actually got a higher multiple right now.
It does, yes. Both are indeed trading at a premium, which clearly indicates high expectations from investors for their future growth in AI.
Mm-hmm. Price for growth.
Definitely priced for growth.
Mm-hmm.
But despite these premiums, the argument is that both companies are well-positioned to profit from the growing adoption of AI for the foreseeable future.
Just through different strategic pathways, right?
One through that broad, flexible GPU power we know so well.
And the other through highly specialized, custom-designed efficiency targeted at the biggest users. What a deep dive this has been. We've really seen how Broadcom, with its highly specialized ASICs or XPUs as they call them, and these increasingly strategic hyperscale partnerships, well, it's not just a participant anymore. It's a truly significant contender in this fiercely competitive AI hardware race.
Yeah, it really is.
This isn't just about selling more chips. It feels like a powerful story of tailored innovation making a massive impact, potentially shifting how some of the largest AI operations are actually built.
It really is a fascinating dynamic. I think the key takeaway here is that the AI market is incredibly dynamic. It's still defining itself.
For sure.
And while Nvidia's GPU dominance for broad computational power is undeniable, it continues to be a driving force. Broadcom's focused approach with these custom-designed energy-efficient chips specifically for massive hyperscale customers, that positions it uniquely.
It's a different value proposition.
Fundamentally, think about it. For a hyperscaler running millions, maybe billions of AI inferences, even a small percentage gain in energy efficiency, or a reduction in the total cost of ownership, that translates into huge savings, potentially billions.
Right. At that scale, efficiency is everything.
Exactly. And that's why these custom chips are so potentially disruptive. It highlights that success in AI isn't confined to just one path or one type of chip architecture. There's significant room and, frankly, significant demand for these specialized solutions.
So for you, our listener, here's maybe a thought to mull over as you go about your day, building on everything we've just discussed. In a world demanding ever more computational power for increasingly complex AI, is the future of AI hardware defined more by the flexible, broad capabilities of a single dominant architecture, like those general-purpose GPUs? Or is it defined more by the rise of these highly specialized, super energy-efficient solutions tailored to very specific needs, like custom ASICs? And crucially, what does that mean for how your company, or any company, will choose to build out its AI infrastructure going forward? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.